Welcome back. I hope your day is treating you well. My name's David, and today I want to cover a exciting topic because it takes a little bit of that pressure off of the situation when you're making like a big transition in life. Yeah, curiosity. I think curiosity is probably the best way to describe it. I think discussing goals and strategies and plans sometimes is full of this weird pressure, and it really doesn't need to be, right? It could be a softer conversation. It could involve crayons. It could involve a whiteboard, your significant other, your best friend, or just you by yourself, right? I think it should be taken serious. So years ago, when I first joined the military, I had a lieutenant that gave me this assignment, right? To what am I going to do in the next year, 3 years? What am I going to do in 5 years? I think 10 years was also on the table. I didn't want to do any of that. I mean, the military already had a plan for me, so I didn't feel like making another plan. I mean, what? I'm just going to make a redundant plan, and it's somehow going to work with the existing plan. But then with that, it was just confusing, right? And then also, I had no idea where to begin. I mean, where do you begin with that ask? I joined the military because I didn't know what I was doing, right? Some people signed on the dotted line for a job because they didn't know where they wanted to go. Some people stayed in America because they didn't know that they wanted to live in another country, right? You didn't know because you never explored those options. I think that's important. Without looking at other options, you don't truly know that you have found something you are very good at, you like, or you even love doing, and you can see yourself doing for many years. I think that's important. I mean, most people could do certain jobs for the rest of their life. Would they be happy? Would they love it? If you follow the advice of the previous generations, maybe you're not meant to love your career. You're meant to kind of hate it and just show up and do it. I think that's not really the best advice. I think you should find something you love and you like. I think the problem is a lot of people are in things that they don't like or they don't love, right? You don't need to love it or like it all the time, but you need to be curious. You need to have fun with it. It needs to fuel you. So some days you might actually love it and like it. I think that's important. I don't love reading all the time, but I've found love for reading certain topics. So the story with reading, you could probably trace that back to me hating reading. I didn't like reading at all. It was extremely boring. I didn't find anything interesting. And it wasn't until like 3 or 4 years ago where I had my girlfriend walk me into a bookstore, right? She was going to the bookstore. I was like, I'll go, go look at magazines. And eventually she was like, you don't want to look at any other books. You just want to look at magazines. And I was like, I don't know. I like reading Harry Potter or, any other kind of like books like Harry Potter. And she was like, there's a lot more than just Harry Potter. There's books about science. There's books about graphic design, psychology. Do you like any of those books? Those are not really fictional books. And so I went to those sections and I slowly but surely fell in love with it. I found some cool art books. I found some science books talking about like the galaxy. I was thrown back into being curious about what I could like or what I love. And it was just for my personal time. It wasn't like for my job. And I thought it was so cool. I was like, I haven't been doing this for years. So I was like, maybe I do need to be more curious and open about stuff. And yeah, I think the same thing could be for your career, right? You don't know what you're gonna like or love until you start tasting other careers. And that could be reaching out to someone on LinkedIn or reaching out to someone on Facebook, going to career fairs, talking to people, right? You're just kind of taste testing, and maybe you go on YouTube and watch a day in the life. That might not be too accurate, but right, because people might sugarcoat those things. But yeah, you just gotta talk to people. Gotta, get a feel for it. Maybe take an internship. Maybe keep your day job though, right? You want to be curious with as little pressure as possible. And don't worry about making the wrong choice. God, don't worry about making the wrong choice. I made so many wrong choices getting out of the military. I have so many interesting stories of transitioning from being in the service to being a normal citizen again. That makes your story unique. And don't worry about, hiding those details. Those details make you unique. Those details make it worth someone to pay attention to your story over dinner or when you're traveling around the U.S. or internationally. Your course corrections are very unique to you. It's almost like your fingerprint. No one's going to have the exact same story. So if you pull out all of the course corrections, you probably will have the same story, right? You're not sharing all the fun parts. You're just sharing the beginning and the end, and maybe a little in between. But talk about your curiosity. Talk about what you were curious about. Why did you get into it? What did you love? What you didn't like? That makes it fun. That makes life worth living. So don't worry about it. Get to the drawing board, bust out some crayons, get some pencils, start sketching, building a web diagram. What are you interested in? What are you not? What doors have you closed? Just have fun with it, right? It's supposed to be a fun process. So until next time, get to sketching, get to drawing, get to thinking. I'm going to come up with the next video, so that's going to be another feat of mine. But thanks for listening, and looking forward to talking to you in the next video.